Hello, everyone. Hello, my beautiful goddesses. I am back today and we are going to be. Let me end live stream. Well, not yet. I put the wrong camera, but we're gonna make this happen. So, welcome to another episode for the money series. This is episode number 10. I can't believe we already have 10 episodes in this series. And today we are going to be talking about protecting your money and protecting your wealth. It's very important. I know we've been talking about how to make money, the energies of money, how to attract more money. But one of the important things as well is how to protect my wealth. How can I start protecting my money? So if you are in the chat or watching these, let me know if you can hear me and see me. I put the wrong camera, so I want to make sure it's not glitchy or anything. So what do I mean by protecting our money and our wealth? Let's say that you start making a lot of money, you start manifesting a lot of money, you start attracting more money, then how can you take care of it? Right? So, disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. So, everything that I say here is from my own experience and from the things that I've been doing and the things that I do with my husband for the businesses that we have or a real estate portfolio. So this is just my personal experience and advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to be telling you where to invest, what to invest, or you know what I mean. If you want more of that, then of course you can hire your financial advisor. And let's start. So when you start making more money, when you start manifesting more money, you have to learn how to take care of it. I always tell you, ladies, one thing is to learn to get money. The second part and the most important part is how to protect money. We don't want to get all this money or start this business and start things going on, and we don't know how to take care of our money. We don't know how to invest it, make it grow. So we need to get savvy about it. We need to start getting financially educated about what type of protections are there for our wealth and our money. So this topic came into my my head because we went to California. We are right now in Texas, and we have another home in California. So we went there. We spent a week in that house. We have another house. They're fully furnished, and it just feels like a second house. So we have one here in Texas, one over there, and being there, like we had a chance to go talk to our lawyer. And while we were there, I'm like, you know what? This is a big part of us. We always have yearly or twice a year we meet with our lawyer to make sure that things are right, that our investments are secure, and to take care of our wealth. So I'm like, of course, this is a big part of it. So let me talk to the girls and add this episode here to the money series, because it's not just about getting money and get higher pay if you don't know what to invest, if you don't know how to take care of the money. So one way of taking care of money, of course, is saving, right? We want to be prepared for an emergency. And I actually don't like calling it emergency because you're putting energetically that money to a bad event, to save for an emergency, a bad event, something happened, I have money. I see it more as I get to have abundance, I get to have overflow. Therefore I'm going to save, therefore I'm going to have a abundant account, right? Like from my overflow I get to have money in different buckets. So I like to call it like that. And savings is very important. I know when you get a lot of money, all we want to do is spend or go on vacation, but it's very important to have reserves. And I noticed that when we start to do, when we want to buy, for example, another property or buy the second house here in Texas or buy any other type of real estate, they ask for reserves unless you're paying in full, which that's not always the case, right? Not everybody has $1 million to pay in full or more to pay in full. It's usually through a lender, or you can do it with seller finances, which means that the owner of the house, the property, is going to lend you money, and he or she is going to let you make payments monthly. That's one option. Other option, it's obviously with a loan in a bank, like the traditional way. And that way requires you to have reserves in your bank account to make sure that you can make the payments. So this is something that I learned. As I say, I'm always learning. I'm also in the learning process. And that's why when I do these things, I try to share with you girls, because I feel that we all can learn together. So it's important. Every time we try to refinance a property, they always ask for bank statements to see if we have reserves. And if you don't have any reserves, the bank is not going to give you the loan that you want, because they want to make sure that you have at least 6 months of the payment of the mortgage for that property. And it can be from 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 into your reserves. And that's why, a way to protect your money and your wealth is to always have reserves, to always have a saving or a bucket of savings or reserves. I like to call it reserves or overflow. Like emergency fund sounds very like, I'm scared and something is going to happen and that money is allocated for disaster. No, that's a bucket for reserves or abundance. But it's very important when you want to become an investor, you always have to have, depending on what level of investing you want to do, you always have to have reserves in the bank. And that's something that me and my husband always do, because when we try to go and refinance, read something, buy another property, we have to have a lot of reserves in the bank to show that we can make payments if we don't get money from like a job. Especially us as entrepreneurs, we don't get a W-2. When you have a business, you don't have your traditional W-2. So they want more reserves because it's higher risk to lend to a person that is self-employed like we are. You have our businesses. So you have to be aware and know all of these little things when you try to manifest more money and counting more money. Okay, so that was number one. Your reserves, your savings, very important, especially if you want to become an investor. Number two is creating a trust for your family. So if you're married, you want to go and get financial advice and legal advice to create a trust. It's like a will, right? A trust. And this is going to be very helpful because in the situation of a disaster, if you acquire a lot of wealth, or you have a business, or you have your investing account with the stock market, or any, what is it called, electronic business, or any intellectual property. That's what it's called, intellectual property. Like my business is online, or YouTube channels, or if you have like businesses online, that's intellectual property. All of that, you have to put it inside trust to protect it. If you pass, knock on wood, but if there is any emergency, then all of these is going to go to the state, or, that's the state where you live is going to define where all of that is going to go if you don't make a plan for where is that wealth going. So if you want to buy a house, if you want to buy properties, if you want to have intellectual property, for example, my online courses that I have, that's intellectual property. I created it under Polkis, my doing business as. That's my brand. So you have layers of protection. You can get insurance for the business, and then that business has an LLC, which means what is it called? Limited liability company. So that goes under that. So they don't go directly to you. So you have to add layers of protection in your LLC, your properties, your intellectual property, all of that, it goes into the trust. So a trust is basically a estate planning, and it's like a little bucket where you put, for example, your investments. So let's say you have a container or a bucket, and in there you put the house that you bought with your husband. You put the properties that you bought. You put the intellectual property, the bank accounts also go in the trust. you can modify it as you want, and you can assignate who's going to get the things inside the bucket, right? Like either gifts or the cash or the businesses or whatever you start acquiring in case of an emergency. Let's say that you got really sick and you cannot talk or anything. At least there is a state plan to where your wealth is going to go. So that's what me and my husband did last week. We shift some things in our business, and so we had to update our trust, and to make sure that also our daughter or our future kids and family has and gets everything that we've been working on. Because I've seen cases where people acquire a lot of wealth, and when they pass, like all the family, it became a huge chaos. Everybody fighting. There was no structure or of where is this going, like which properties, which bank account, like everything just got froze. And I think it goes to the state, and then the state either sells it or decides what to do. So you don't want to put your family or your future generations through that. It's just a big mess, and you're going through grief, and people fight, like worst cases, like family breaks when it comes to about money. Like money is a huge thing. And I want to make sure that ladies, you start preparing for your children, for, who's going to get the business, or in case of an emergency, who can be the trust director. I don't know the specific term for the person that actually, the trustees and stuff, but we went to our lawyer to make sure, everything is in check, our business plans, the bank accounts, the business names. And also he gave me legal advice for the contract that I give my clients. So I have a life coaching business, and it's a service business, right? I have courses online, that's intellectual property. I have a life coaching business, which I have a legal agreement between me and the client where we, like the client signs it, I sign it. It's kind of like a partnership that we're going to be working together either 6 weeks, 12 weeks, and it has a lot of things in there. And I brought it to my lawyer, and he reviewed it, and he's going to modify a few things there. So see, I'm always trying to protect the business, myself. If I'm going to be providing services to somebody, then of that agreement, and that's a layer of protection that protects Boyke's, my business, like that protects me as an individual. So you always have to try to see how can you protect your money and your wealth. We talk about savings, we talk about trust. Also, if you are not married yet, then maybe the partner that you're going to marry, or if you have properties, businesses, brokers account, if you invest in the stock market, or you're creating something online that is generating a lot of money, or your YouTube channel, if you have it that is profiting, then in that case it will be a prenup. I know it's uncomfortable. Girl, it is uncomfortable, but you have to protect your wealth, especially if you come from money, or your parents gave you like big amount of money when they pass, or you inherit a home or a gift, a property from someone, or as I say, your online business. All of these things, it's always to protect yourself, especially if you are creating something, and if you're okay with sharing everything as a marriage, then 100% agree, you do what you got to do. But also don't be surprised if you marry someone that is wealthy, and this person has a family business, or has a like real estate portfolio that it's very big. Then if he asks you to do a prenup, then I just advise you to go, find your lawyer, find your legal advice. As I say, I'm sharing everything from my experience. I'm not giving financial or legal advice, because it's actually illegal to, I cannot tell you, oh, invest here, do that. I'm just sharing my experience. But don't be surprised if they ask you to sign up a prenup. Very wealthy people take care of their wealth. They take care of their money. So anybody new in the family, either they most likely they're gonna ask you to sign a prenup saying that, hey, you won't get piece of the business, but everything that you build with him, it will be, of course, together, but anything before he got, before he met you, then that's family business, etc. That's an example. So this can be very triggering. As I say, women are not used to talk about money. We think that by getting money is just going to buy jewelry and buying all these designer goods. That's the fun part. That's the easy part. Spending is the easy part. Taking care of your wealth and your money, that's a whole other level. So I remember I got super triggered when I got to ask to sign a prenup. But I also understand. I got triggered, but I understand. And then there is one book that I highly recommend. It's called, let me pull it up right now. Here it is. It's called Increase Your Financial IQ from Robert Kiyosaki. He's the author of The Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm going to link the book here in the chat, because I remember I listened to this book when I started learning about wealth, about investments. In one of the chapters, he says, protect your wealth. And one of the things that he explained that was about prenups or post. Prenup is before getting married. I think there is one post prenup, something like that, which is after you get married. Even after you get married, you can, rearrange your properties and stuff, but it's a little more complicated than signing it before you get married. You know what I mean? In that chapter, he explained that wealthy people take care of their wealth. So it was not a shock to me. I understand, but also it was very uncomfortable talking about these things with someone you're going to marry. Just be prepared. Talking about money, talking how much you make, what's your debt, how much do you have in your savings account, what's your spending habits. All of these things are uncomfortable, but let me tell you, the quicker you get comfortable talking about these things, the more happier you're going to be and the more comfortable you're going to be talking to your spouse about these things. As I say, women just think it's all about spending, and it's not like that. It's not that you get money and money's just spending and being irresponsible with it. Also, is learning how to protect the wealth, learning and understanding the containers that are there before you get married, the prenup, the trust, all of these things. And I'm not saying you do it, because most likely the guy is going to do it, but it's also that you are involved and you understand the process, you hire your own lawyer, you're comfortable in these scenarios. Being wealthy is not just about being in a yacht all day partying. Is understanding how to protect your wealth, is understanding being comfortable talking to a lawyer. The lawyer we went to, like, per hour, they charge $800. In that hour, when you sit there, you have to be on point with all your things that you want to talk about. Like I say, he helped me with my life coaching contract that I signed with the clients. We talk about properties, the trust, the businesses. So you want to make the best out of it. And their language is very, very, of course, a lawyer, like, their language is going to be very highly educated. So I was trying to keep up, but this is like the third or fourth time that I meet with our lawyer. And each time you get more comfortable taking care of your wealth. So if you want wealth, you have to learn to take care of it, grow it, protect it. Right? We talk about if something happens, then you don't want your family fighting over the crumbs, and maybe the city is going to get it anyways. So that's another one. We talk about prenups. We talk about the trust, the reserves, if you want to invest, your savings, and also insurance, right? Insurance is a way of protection, like life insurance or insurance for your business. Like if you have a service business, then you want to get your insurance in case of anything happens, or someone sues you, or someone, you never know what things are going to happen when you own a business. So always protect yourself with insurance. Also your house, obviously, if you own a house or you own assets, it's always good to have your insurance company taking care of those things. So we have a lady that she is our insurance agent, and she has the list for all the properties. We have residential properties that we lease and commercial properties that we also lease. So for those things are different, type of insurances in case of an emergency. So you have to have those things secure. And I'm not trying to scare you, that owning wealth is scary, but the more you do it, it's just going to be comfortable. Anything that you don't understand is scary. Me, oh my God, like going to lawyers and talking to insurance companies, like all of this was none of my normal, okay? But that doesn't mean that I don't get to do it, that I don't get to learn about it. So I'm going to leave you that book there. And he's really good talking about everything. And that's where I learned how to protect your wealth. That was, I think, 4 years ago when I started learning all of that. And now I'm living it in real life. Like we actually, like call or the insurance company, like these ladies or the salesperson there, and she always, each year she calls us to renew the things, because each year you have to renew the thing, either goes up or goes down, and we go through it with each property. So it's not just jokes and games, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna get money and blow money and post on social media. No, it's learning to take care of money. I always told you girls, I made this series, the money series, so you can have a good relationship with money and not be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be intimidated by it. You deserve it. You can get it. And you can also get to take care of it. It's like a child, like a good guest. I always say, money, come to me. I'll take care of you. I'll put you to work. I'll take care of you. I'll save you. I will invest you, and all of that. So we talk about insurances as well. Other one that is really good is having diversified what is it called? The word diversify your portfolios, like a very diversified portfolio or different streams of income. Nowadays, it's really hard, almost impossible to survive with one income, especially if it's a active income or like a job. Just one job is almost impossible. And this is getting sad, because if that person loses that job, the only source of income, then it stops. Like you don't get any money from anywhere else unless you go get another job. So it's always a good idea to have a diversified portfolio, or different type of, if you do real estate or you want to get into it, then the properties in different places or different type of properties, either residential or commercial or industrial, or a parking lot that you're going to rent, or a house that you're going to do as an Airbnb, things like that. Just different locations or different type of properties. So one, let's say that commercial went bad, then at least residential is still renting, or residential is limited, then at least you have your commercial going. That's in real estate also, like your stock market account, if you like to do stocks, or if you want to do YouTube or some intellectual property or business that you do online, that can be another source of income. Anything, you always have to have, like, all your eggs cannot be in one basket. They have to be a little spread out. And I always, this is something that me and my husband always try to always add more on what we do. So if one bucket is not making money, then at least we know the bigger one is making it. Or if this one stopped, at least we can make money somewhere else. So at this point, I don't know, we have many streams of income, but both of us have different ones. And it goes to the family, right? This is our wealth. But it's almost impossible nowadays to survive, especially if you have a family and you want to save and you want to invest. It's almost impossible now to do it with one income, especially if it's fixed or you have to wait until next year for a raise. It's very limiting because things keep going up, especially if you're renting or you have families. Kids are not cheap. I know you can make it cheap, but kids have needs. The insurances, if you have car problems, like there goes your savings, right? Like your emergency funds. So it's always smart to have at least something that is passive, which means that you always get money without you working or putting the time. Maybe you put the time in once, but you don't have to constantly do it. So I think I'm going to make another episode, maybe episode 11. We'll see what number is going to be. But I'm going to put some ideas of businesses of how you can start moving some money, so you can start adding more sources of income in your family. If you're a stay-at-home mom or you have a job, doesn't matter. It's always good to have another side hustle or a little, getting money from here or from there. And especially now with social media, Amazon, affiliate links, or YouTube, there is always a way that you can make money. Even Poshmark, oh my God, I saw like a, when we went to California, I found our costumes from last year's Halloween from last year, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sell this. Halloween is around the corner, so I listed them on Poshmark, and I sold one for like $20, and the other one is like for $30. And see, it's just money that was sitting there that might as well cash it out. So there is always little things that you can do to start moving money. That was just one example. That's little things that I do too. Like if I use a dress for a wedding and I don't need it anymore, I just use it once, then I will sell it on Poshmark. Like there is no need to hoard things. I like to flow, flow the money, flow the abundance. So that's just what I had for today. I know there is more ways that you can, protect your wealth, like taxes and all of that, but that's a little more advanced, I will say. And I also don't want to get into really, really like giving financial advice, because that's not mi responsabilidad, o como se dice, my niche. But I just wanted to bring awareness to this topic, that if you want money, like we talk about money here in the money series, if you want money, if you want to create wealth, attract more abundance, make money, then of course you have to also learn that the masculine aspect of money, which is how to take care of it, how to grow it, how to protect it. And if you have your husband and he's the one in charge of it, like in my case, my husband is the one that is in charge. I just make sure that I understand and that I am aware of the things that are happening. I'm involved in all the lawyer meetings. When we talk about our, portfolio, then I'm aware of everything. So even though he's the one, taking care of it and actively, changing things, I'm aware. So as a woman, it's always good to at least be aware if you're not going to be the one doing it. And if you're not married and you have businesses, then of course you can hire your accountant, your tax person, or like your financial advisor, or have a lawyer, especially if you have a business, or you want to create, like I say, a prenup or your trust to take care of these things. So I'm so happy, because these things, as I say, the background that I have, like I don't come from wealth. I come from Guatemala, and I overcame those triggers. And now being in a lawyer's office, or talking with our insurance companies, or talking about, contracts for my life coaching business, or moving money here and there, all of these thing feels like natural to me. Yeah, I am a very abundant person. It's just that I got conditioned in this country. I was born in this family. But all of us are very wealthy. Like we're born wealthy, and it's up to us if we stay in the situation like we were raised, or we make the decision to become wealthy and to claim that wealth back. Remember that money is just a type of energy. Doesn't define who you are. Doesn't define what can you be. It's just an opportunity. It gives you opportunities. It's like a tool, like an energy that gives you opportunities to become more. So claim that wealth back, tap into your goddess energy, and start learning about these things. I love you, my goddess, so much. And I will leave the link of the book that I recommended. It's called, here it is, Increase Your Financial IQ by Robert Kiyosaki. This is how it looks like. I think I listened to it twice, and now that I mention it, I think I'm going to re-listen it, because every time that I listen something new in the new book again, I listen something new. Like, oh my God, I never heard this before, but it's like I listened to it twice. So the more you expand your vocabulary, the more you learn about finances and money, the more you're going to understand what they mean in some things that I didn't understand the first time. So that was the message of today. Thank you, goddesses, for watching episode number 10.